Hey crafting family, welcome back to Victori's Creations. VC here. Welcome. If you're new, I hope you stick around and enjoy the tutorials. Don't forget before you leave to hop down below and hit that subscribe button and the like button and comment below and tell me how you're doing. For today's tutorial, I want to show you how I took these simple plain boxes. They're shoe boxes. I got these from Amazon, and how I labeled those and turned them into something that my daughter could use to help her with keeping the kids' clothes organized for the week. If you're ready to jump in, I'll go over the materials that you're going to need for this project, and then we'll get started. Remember, full disclaimer, always watch all the way through before you start the craft yourself. For today's project, you're going to need a cutting machine. I'm using my Cricut Joy vinyl. You can use permanent or removable. I'm using permanent. Cricut brayer, and this is actually optional since we're not using the mats. Cricut weeding tool, Cricut Scraper, transfer paper, and the shoebox. These can be found on Amazon, and I'll link that down below in the description. Now that we have all of our materials, let's get crafting. Of course, as with any project, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and measure your workable space. The workable space I'm using is going to measure 5.5 by 3.25. Now remember, measure twice, cut once. So 5.5, 3.25. Now this project can be done starting in Canva if you like, but because I'm only printing or cutting out labels, I'm going to create mine in Cricut Design Space because all I'm going to need is a font, and Cricut Design Space has plenty. You could also use the fonts from your computer. First thing you want to do is click New Project. Once your canvas opens up, the first thing you want to do is go grab a shape. We are going to grab the square. Drag it over a little bit. I want to change it from black to white so you can see through it. I'm going to unlock the locking mechanism up top so that these sides can be whatever shape or whatever size I make them. So I'm going to go up here, and our width was 5.5 and our height was 3.25. So this is our working space. This, we know we cannot go outside of this space here. Now that we have our working area, go over to the left and click on T for text. Slide that text over into the box. I'm going to go ahead and type in my word. I'm using Monday through Friday and school shoes. Go up to your fonts and choose what font that you like. I'm going to use the Love Twist Sans font. This is found under System because this is a font that I have on my computer. This is font I got from Creative Fabrica, and I will link that down below in the description. Once you have your font selected, you'll want to make sure that your word will fit into the space provided. You don't want to put it all the way to the line. I know I gave myself a little bit of leeway here, but I want to make sure that it's going to fit. Now, I personally like mine to be a darker. This doesn't really matter because your vinyl is going to be whatever color you choose, but I like mine on here to be that bright black color. Because we are doing 2 sets of labels, I'm going to duplicate the Monday. I'm going to duplicate each one of them. I'm going to duplicate again, put this one here. I'm going to change from Monday to Tuesday. I can probably, this would probably fit better if I initial. Let's try that. I don't know what I just did. Let's initial it instead of, there we go. Instead of putting the whole word, because once you get to Wednesday, because that is such a huge word, it's going to have to be cut really small. Tuesday here, change Monday, both Mondays, period. Duplicate. All right, change this from Monday to Wednesday. And we initial Wednesday. Always make sure it's going to fit into your area. And she only wants until Friday. And the last thing she wants is school, shoes. And we are going to have to make this one smaller. Now don't forget, before you cut out, you want to take this blank box and delete it. I always like to save my projects just because sometimes things go wrong in the cutting department, and when you exit back out, sometimes it takes away everything. So organizing, how about school closed label? Labels. Save. And if she ever needs any more of them cut out, then all I have to do is pull it back up and cut them out. Make sure your machine is selected. I am using the Joy, and click Make. I am using without the mat because I'm using my smart vinyl. So I'm going to choose this. And this is where all of my letters are, or all my words are, and this is where you can kind of play around with it to move things around as you need. Sometimes you can kind of play around with it and get it, save yourself a little bit of space, and sometimes that is not plausible. That did not actually save a lot of space, but you never know until you kind of move them around. Once you click out of off the screen, then you can see exactly where you are. This is also the time to double check your words to make sure that you spelled everything correctly. Once you have everything exactly how you want it, click on continue. Your design space will find the machine that you are connecting to. You will select your material. I'm using the smart vinyl, and I always like to click the more on the pressure. Make sure you check your blade to make sure that there is nothing on the blade. This is something, like I said in one of the previous videos, this is something we should do after each use, but as long as we do it before we cut, it should be okay. Once you check your blade, make sure that you load your material and then click go. Now that all of our words are cut out, let's go ahead and cut out where we end up at. It's about right here. I want to cut on a line, so I'm going to cut right there. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Another notch. Make sure, always make sure, done this, make sure that you are that where your line is cut, that you are not going to be cutting out any of your words. Flip it, find your cut. There it is, right there. And then cut across. And no, I did not put scissors in the material list when I went over the materials with you at the beginning of the video. Just assume that if we're working with vinyl, we're going to need scissors. Now, before I start cutting or weeding out the big parts of the vinyl, I'm going to go ahead and get all the smaller parts so that I don't have to worry about it once I'm doing the bigger parts. I find it easier to get all the centerpieces at the start, especially when you're working with small prints or small cuts. Keep your scissors handy just in case. Remember, go slow just in case it tries to rip or leave any of your cutouts behind. Try not to let it fold over to the point of sticking to the vinyl that's already on your paper. Easy peasy. Now I want to cut out each word. Be very careful that you do not cut on the word, that you're just cutting out the word. And I'm taking out the extra as we don't need it. See, we lost our dot. I did not even realize that. I will go and I've kind of balled it up, so I don't know if I even have it. I will go and check in just a second. I was very close, but I did not nick it. Very, very close. Chances of finding it was very slim. We got lucky. Let's place it back on paper. And voila. That usually never happens. Now, because let me clean up my mess. Now, because I am taking this to my daughter's house to apply these, I'm going to go ahead and put each one of them on transfer tape. Normally, I wouldn't do this. Normally, I would use one piece and attach as many as I can with it. But I'm taking this to her house, and I don't want to have to do all that at her house. I want to be able to just put them on, be done with it, and then I could spend time with her and my grandbabies. So let's go ahead and cut this piece out. Any of these will fit. Our Fridays will fit. So 3. It takes care of our Fridays. I'm going to do one of these for the Thursday. Actually, I can do two of these for the Thursday because they are 6. Because I'm using them, I'm cutting in, the height of them will be 3 squares. So that takes care of my Thursdays. Now, let's go ahead and cut out 3 squares. I'm going to repeat that same because that'll take care of both the Tuesdays and both of the school days or word schools. This is what's left. So now we just take and peel back the transfer tape and apply it to the words. Use your scraper. Repeat the process for each one of these. I hope that you enjoyed that little tutorial and it has inspired you to go out and get some labels created and get some organization done in your life if you need it. I know I could probably use a little bit more organization in my life, and I'm working on it little by little. Until next time, remember, keep crafting your best life.